This is News 8 Now, this morning.
It's helped us with payroll. It's helped us give bonuses to our staff and just keep our doors open, basically. It's been cut in half, so right now our income from tuition is less than we have going out for payroll.
We set the benchmarks across the nation. So for little La Crosse, Wisconsin, to have such great emergency care, our community should really, be proud.
In 2025, it will actually be our 90th draft. So I can't think of a better place to be able to do that than right here in really what is the heart of football.
Good morning, everyone, and that was your morning eye opener. I'm Jeremy Wall, in for Dua.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It's August 15th, 2023. Derek, more of a sunnier day today, less precipitation.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit drier for today, and I think really the rest of this work week here too, as we're under an area of high pressure. But also, Jeremy, it's going to be very nice outside in terms of our temperatures. A lot more seasonable here today. There's a big warm-up I'm tracking here as we head into this weekend and also into next week. But we got some time to worry about that because, after all, let's enjoy these nice temperatures while we got them here, right? They're going to be sticking around here for a while. But right now, on satellite and radar picture-wise, things are quiet. Just a few passing clouds that we had overnight. But other than that, things are looking clear, and you can see a clear sweep there on that satellite picture. Current temperatures are into the 50s, 55 in Winona, 56 in La Crosse. Temperatures in Eau Claire, you're currently at 50. Viroqua was at 53, Prairie du Chien 56, Bosquebel at 55 degrees. City Cam 8 off to a mostly clear start, just a few high-level clouds there in the distance, but other than that, conditions are looking quiet and clear, which are expected to continue through the rest of the day today, with temperatures into the upper 70s to low 80s as we head into this afternoon. Your allergy report is high for weed. The ragweed, however, is medium. Mold is high. For tomorrow, you can see everything turns up to the high side. And by the way, the ragweed pollen count is expected to go up in the next couple of weeks as well. So we'll watch that closely here for you as far as those allergens are concerned. I'll have a check on your dog walking conditions plus your full weather forecast. I'll let you know how long the seasonal pattern is expected to last. Jeremy?
Thanks, Derek. Let's get to some news this morning. Cash bond has been reduced for the woman accused of killing 6-year-old Alex Xavier Pedron. 31-year-old Josie Dykeman is accused of first-degree intentional homicide, chronic neglect of a child, and repeated acts of physical abuse of a child that caused bodily harm. At Dykeman's initial appearance back in May, Judge Gonzalez set a bond for $1 million. Her lawyer argued bond should be reduced because bond cannot be used as a punishment. He said Dykeman is poor and could not afford the $1 million bond. He also cited previous cases in La Crosse court where people with similar charges had reduced bonds. Judge Elliot Levine reduced it to a $250,000 cash bond with additional terms.
The conditions would be GPS house arrest, JSS monitoring, no contact with anybody under the age of 18. If the family can post that she'd be restricted, then either she'd have to live at, it sounds like, either mother or father's house.
Dykeman next has a status conference in October. Cash bond for a man accused of a triple homicide has also been reduced. Niall Tao has been held on a $1 million cash bond since July 2021. He's accused of shooting and killing 3 people execution style at a county quarry. Today, his lawyer asked for reduced bail. He cited the hung jury in June's mistrial as a reason to lower Tao's bail amount. Judge Levine reduced it to a $500,000 cash bond. Levine said the cash bail amount remains high due to the violent nature of the crimes Tao was accused of. Tao will appear in court again in October for a status conference to determine when a new trial will take place. 2 people in Monroe County have been arrested on dozens of charges related to an illegal animal shelter. 25-year-old Aaron J. Olson and 27-year-old Brendan Michelson have been arrested for allegedly mistreating and selling animals. Their listed address is this property on North Street in Sparta. Olson faces multiple counts of intentionally mistreating animals, improperly sanitizing animal shelters, selling dogs, and operating an animal shelter without a license. She's also charged with conspiracy to intentionally abandon an animal and obstructing an agency. Brennan Michelson has been arrested for similar charges and resisting an officer. They will both make their initial appearances in Monroe County Court on Thursday. A Coon Valley man's hunting and fishing licenses are revoked after a DNR investigation. According to a DNR release, they got a tip in November 2021 about someone shooting a buck with a rifle during archery season. The investigation found that in addition to the illegal harvest, the Coon Valley resident also used illegal bait to attract deer. He also used a relative's license to continue hunting after meeting the buck harvest limit. The DNR will revoke the man's hunting and fishing privileges for the next 3 years. He has received citations for the other charges. The money is there. That's what Governor Tony Evers says about available state funding for child care programs. The governor stopped by Little Feet and Helpful Hands Child Care Center in Holmen. Last week, Evers called a special session for the state legislature to address funding for child care centers. Wisconsin currently has a $4 billion surplus. Evers is hoping to use $365 million from that surplus to continue the Child Care Counts program. Republicans had to cut the program out of the state's recently signed budget. To cope with the loss of funds, some child care centers have decided to raise tuition. Others are set to close down. Evers says he believes there will be economic repercussions if child care is no longer an affordable option for families.
For every child that leaves the center because either parents can't afford it or the center closes, it's one less person that's in the workforce because they have to stay home.
The funds for the Child Care Counts program originally came from federal pandemic relief money. Little Feet and Helpful Hands was one of the centers to get money from the program. They received more than $1.1 million across their 2 locations. The co-owner of Little Feet and Helpful Hands explains what the funding meant for the center and the consequences of not having it anymore.
It's helped us with payroll. It's helped us give bonuses to our staff and just keep our doors open, basically. It's been cut in half, so right now our income from tuition is less than we have going out for payroll.
If the legislature does not vote to continue child care counts during the special session, that funding will go away in January. To make up for the loss of the funds, the center is set to raise tuition prices. Evers is hopeful the session will be a success, but knows it will be an uphill battle. In the past, state Republicans have gavelled in and gavelled out of special sessions within seconds. The session is scheduled for September 20th. BYOB, Bring Your Own Bag. Wafer Food Pantry is holding a produce giveaway Wednesday afternoon. The giveaway is from 1 to 3:30 in the afternoon in La Crosse at 1603 George Street in the alley. According to their Facebook post, there will be a variety of produce available. This includes fresh sweet corn, lettuce and tomatoes, and even bakery items. For more information, you can go to their website, waferlacrosse.org. We'll post a link on news8000.com. The La Crosse Public Library has multiple events happening today. At 10 a.m. there will be chair fitness at the Community Connection Center. You can have fun exercising while sitting in a chair and listening to upbeat music. This is for all ages and fitness levels. You must register for the event ahead of time. And starting at 1, the main library's creation space will be open. This space gives the entire community the opportunity to use a 3D printer, sewing machine, and other production equipment. Well, it's not too late for kids to get caught up on back-to-school vaccinations. Gunderson's Vaccine Clinic is hosting Be a Superhero Day today at their Onalaska location. The event runs in the evening from 4:15 to 6:30. This gives people who work an opportunity to take their kids in. The vaccine clinic is on the 4th floor at the Onalaska building. It offers all vaccines, including for the flu, COVID, meningitis, and tetanus. It is recommended to make an appointment, but walk-ins are accepted. A national association says Gunderson Health System's emergency services are the cream of the crop. Gunderson has received this year's Emergency Nurse Association's Lantern Award. It honors the top 1% of health systems across the country that show excellence in research, professionalism, leadership, and education. A head of Gunderson's Emergency Services Department says it's a huge honor and one that reflects a large amount of staff that make quality care happen.
We set the benchmarks across the nation. So for little La Crosse, Wisconsin, to have such great emergency care, our community should really, be proud. This is where I bring my family. So if my family were to need emergency care, I'm proud of the care that they can get here.
This is the first time Gunderson has received the Lantern Award. The honor lasts for the next 3 years. Still ahead on your morning news, a popular brand of cookie dough is being voluntarily recalled after possibly containing wood fragments. And some economists are thinking that the Fed will not raise interest rates in September, but some members of the Fed are still a little hawkish. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Get ready to take a chill pill. It's National Relaxation Day. On this day, Americans are encouraged to take time out of their busy schedules to de-stress with their favorite activities. Fourth grader Sean Moeller came up with the idea for National Relaxation Day in 1985. Mueller said he wanted a day on which people could enjoy themselves by engaging in activities of little consequence. So whether it's a trip to the beach, time with a pet, or just a good book, be kind to yourself today.
The skies are looking mostly clear this morning, as you can see right there behind me from our local satellite and radar picture. We're looking at temperatures into the 40s the further east you are, and also up towards the Chippewa Valley. Eau Claire, you're currently at 48, but La Crosse much warmer than that, though, currently at 56 degrees. Now for your zone forecast today, you'll notice that our temperatures will be much more seasonable come this afternoon. We'll be into the upper 70s to low 80s today with that 80-degree reading today in Holmen, highs reaching 82 in both Unalaska and La Crosse this afternoon. As we head south, Soldiers Grove, you're at 78 today. Viroqua, a very comfortable 75. Temperatures just shy of 80 in Stoddard today. Hillsboro and Lafarge at 76 to 78 degrees respectively there. Lynxville with a high of 78 today. And as we head into the central zones, upper 70s to low 80s here with Arcadia at 79. Trempealeau also at 79. Melrose today looking at that high of 80 degrees. And as we head into the Chippewa Valley, upper 70s, low 80s here with 80 degrees this afternoon in Eau Claire. So overall, you know, your dog walking conditions this morning look great. Lots of sunshine here for the morning. The sunshine will continue this afternoon. Clear skies are in the forecast even as we head into early this evening. Stay tuned. I'll have another check on your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes. We'll talk about how long the seasonal pattern will last and when this next heat wave, that is, could be on the way for us. All that and more in just a bit.
In your consumer news this morning, food manufacturer Nestle is voluntarily recalling some of their chocolate chip cookie dough. The company says that 2 batches of their break and bake products may possibly contain wood fragments. The affected batches were produced in April and no illnesses or injuries had been reported. Nestle says they are confident it is an isolated issue and apologizes for the inconvenience. Anyone who has purchased the cookie dough is recommended to return it for replacement or a refund. If you have any travel plans for the upcoming Labor Day holiday, you may want to account for rising gas prices. According to AAA, the cost of a gallon of regular is over $4 in 11 states. The national average for a gallon of regular is now $3.85. This is the highest gas prices have been in the last 10 months after going up 2 cents from last week. Some of the reasons for the recent spike in gas prices are due to Russia and Saudi Arabia recently cutting global supply for oil, and some U.S. refineries are struggling to function in the extreme heat. According to AAA, the current average in Wisconsin is $3.74, and in Minnesota the average is $3.80. Starbucks is testing a new reusable cup option. Customers can bring in their personal cup into the cafe or drive-thru, or they can utilize the new borrow a cup option. The company's new option will allow customers to use a reusable ceramic or glass cup if they decide to stay in the cafe. Customers who bring in their own cleanup will get the standard 10-cent discount, and rewards members will also get 25 bonus stars. Customers who return borrowed cups can also register online for a chance to win a prize. The reusable cup is being tested in 25 global markets. Netflix has announced they will be testing a new video game streaming option for a limited number of users. The company began their trials by releasing 2 new video games, Oxenfree and Molyneux's Mining Adventure. The testing is being conducted on select TVs currently, but is expected to expand to personal computers and Macs in the coming weeks. Gamers can download an app to use their cell phones as controllers. Some economic analysts are believing that the economy is heading in the right direction, and that the Federal Reserve could potentially keep interest rates steady in September. John Lorick has the details about how it can affect your budget.
The average U.S. family spent about $700 more in July compared to 2 years ago to buy the same goods and services, according to Moody's Analytics.
Look at how much parents are paying for materials for children, back to school materials. Prices have gone up. Maybe the rate of increase may slow, but the level has gone up significantly.
The main cause for consumers forking out more money is still high inflation. In an attempt to curb these rising prices, the Federal Reserve boosted U.S. interest rates 11 times since March 2022.
It's no fun. No one likes it, but if you're going to get inflation back in the bottle, this is part of the process. Good news is inflation is getting back in the bottle.
The CME FedWatch tool says the financial markets believe there's nearly a 90% chance the central bank will hold rates steady in September.
We have a kind of a Goldilocks economic situation where economic growth is slowing without going into a recession.
Another reason for economic optimism, wages are starting to outpace inflation.
Things feel like they're moving in the right direction. Hopefully, 6-12 months down the road, the Fed can start taking its foot off the brakes and lowering those interest rates, and the banking system will, feel a lot better as a result.
Some members of the Fed are still a little hawkish about possible future hikes. During an event in Atlanta, Fed Governor Michelle Brown said that inflation was still higher than the Fed's goal of 2% and that more increases could be needed to help reach that goal in the near future. That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek and today's forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Jeremy. We are off to a nice clear start here this morning from CityCam 8 in downtown La Crosse. Current conditions are at 56 degrees with clear skies, 57 degrees here downtown at the TV station. We're looking at light northerly winds currently at 3 miles an hour. Meanwhile, for you in Eau Claire, you're looking at some foggy conditions now developing. In fact, we can see that not just from our weather report there on your screen, but also the camera picking up on some of that dense fog out there. I mean, after all, the relative humidity is pretty high, 96%, so there's plenty of moisture in the air to allow that fog here to develop across the Coulee region this morning. So we'll keep our eyes on that here for you. Use your low beam headlights if you're in Eau Claire, and make sure to slow down as well. Wind speeds in the meantime are looking nice and calm. So our satellite and radar picture definitely off to a nice clear start here this morning, and things are expected to continue that way at least for the next several days, which we'll get to in a second. Our current temperature readings are currently into the 40s off to the east, but we're seeing that trend here as well towards the Chippewa Valley. As we saw in Eau Claire, temperatures at 48, and as we saw in La Crosse, we're much warmer than that currently at 56. A lot of us really across the area are mainly into the 50s. So a check now on your planner. Clear skies to start, and then we turn sunny by noon today. Very comfortable 72 degrees at 12, and then at 4, 81 with sunshine. We are expected to see those clear skies linger as we head into early this evening with temperatures at 73 degrees. But our forecast high temperatures today, very seasonable into the upper 70s, low 80s this afternoon all across the area here today. And again, that trend is going to continue here for a while, but a heat up is on the way. We'll get to your 8-day in just a little bit as well. We are expecting the clear weather to continue throughout the majority of the day. You can see this ridging here. That is an area of high pressure that we're currently being influenced by, and that trend will continue. You can see a few clouds maybe move in here from the north as we head into overnight tonight. A slim chance of a shower is possible across the Chippewa Valley, but other than that, we are just going to be looking at mix of clouds and sun as we head into tomorrow morning. And then maybe some clouds begin to increase further as we head into Wednesday. That's associated with this trough of low pressure, and you can see a frontal boundary attached to it as well, which is going to start to move in as we head into tomorrow night. And behind that cold front, it's going to be much cooler. Out ahead of it, going to be warmer. In fact, a high of 87 tomorrow, thanks to that southerly wind profile out ahead of the front. But once that front passes, we're expecting highs to drop into the low 80s on Thursday and again on Friday. But a big warm-up is on the way this weekend and also into early next week as highs rise into the low 90s, lows mainly in the 60s. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. We're taking a quick break with a look what happened on this day in history for August 15th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz. It's officially week 1 of the high school football season. Most of our area teams will be kicking off the regular season this Friday night, but a few squads will get going a little earlier. One of those teams kicking off on Thursday night is Viroqua, and the Blackhawks are looking to bounce back this year and start the season with a win for the first time since 2018. The rain not stopping the Viroqua football team yesterday afternoon. Blackhawks hard at work on Monday as the team hopes to turn things around this season. Second-year head coach Taylor Henry says experience will definitely help. The squad is comprised mostly of upperclassmen who got a ton of playing time at the varsity level last year, including returning junior quarterback Benson McDowell, who was named to the All-Conference Honorable Mention list in 2022. Henry says for a team that's rebuilding, camp's been great so far. The team is moving in the right direction. Now it's all about bringing that same energy and focus to the gridiron come game time.
We don't have anyone playing that it's really their first experience playing varsity, which was almost our whole team last year. So from that perspective, we are more experienced, we're tougher, we're bigger, stronger, faster. Everything you'd want out of a football program, we're moving it in the right direction.
The energy is really high right now. We've got a lot of guys really fired up to get out there and play some football. Every practice we go through, little things improve, and I think the longer we keep at it, the better it's going to get.
I think for us, the big thing is confidence. I know we have the athletes, I know we have the skill to do it, but going out there and bringing confidence and knowing that we're ready every game, I think that will really help us out in the long run, yeah.
The Blackhawks kick off the regular season Thursday night at home against Dodgeville. Loggers back at the Lumberyard for Game 2 against Eau Claire. Lacrosse advances with a win. This is a good start. 2 on for Ethan Fry in the second. He finds a hole on the left side. 1 run comes in to score on the RBI single. Loggers strike first. It's 1-0, and Lacrosse was just getting started. Still in the second. The squeeze is on. Aiden Sweat lays down a beauty. Can't do it too much better than that. Perfect squeeze makes it 2-0. And then in the third, this one goes a little further. Brandon Fields unloads on this pitch. A monster 2-run blast to left center. 349 feet. He gets to where the Cheesehead. It's 4-0. Then later in the third, Lacrosse still pouring it on. Fry again, this time going back up the middle for a base hit. Another RBI single makes it 5-0 Lacrosse, and everything going right for the home team. Still in the third, this throw sails into center field. That's going to allow another run to come in and score. That makes it 6-0 Loggers. Then in the ninth, Lacrosse looking to end it, and this pitch paints the outside corner. That'll do it. The Loggers take down Eau Claire 2-0. They win Game 2 by a final of 6-2, and they are the Great Plains East champs. Lacrosse will take on St. Cloud in the next round. That's going to do it for sports. We'll see you tonight.
Breaking news overnight, former President Donald Trump has been indicted for the 4th time in 5 months. A Georgia grand jury handed up 41 charges against Trump and nearly 24 of his allies for their alleged roles in trying to overturn the 2020 election loss. CBS's Jared Hill reports from New York.
New legal trouble for former President Donald Trump.
A Fulton County grand jury returned a true bill of indictment.
Georgia District Attorney Fani Willis late Monday with the 41-count indictment against the GOP frontrunner and 18 of his allies.
The defendants engaged in a criminal racketeering enterprise to overturn Georgia's presidential election result.
The indictment, unsealed before cameras, also names former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Trump's one-time personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. The former New York City mayor, one of those accused of racketeering and conspiracy for allegedly putting in calls to pressure local officials and making false statements about election fraud. Overnight, Giuliani called the indictment part of a book of lies. Georgia's former Republican Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan testified before the grand jury yesterday.
My hope is that Americans believe us. My hope is that Republicans believe us.
The investigation was first sparked by Trump's January 2021 phone call with Georgia's Secretary of State.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Trump has maintained he didn't do anything wrong, and his campaign called the indictment election interference.
Unlike the 3 other criminal cases against the former president, cameras are expected to be allowed in the courtroom. Georgia prosecutors say Trump and his allies have until next Friday to voluntarily surrender to authorities. With a month to go until the United Auto Workers contract with automakers expires, President Biden is urging the two sides to reach an agreement and fast. The president issued a statement advocating compromise. United Auto Workers are asking for pay raises of at least 40%. Now that number would match the raises chief executives at Ford, GM, and Stellantis have received in the last 4 years. But the two sides are reportedly far apart in the ongoing negotiations. Union leaders say they are planning to hold a strike authorization vote in the near future. The White House is reportedly following the situation closely. President Biden is visiting Wisconsin today. Biden will be in Milwaukee to talk about Bidenomics and his plan to build the economy from the bottom up. His visit comes a week before the city hosts the first 2024 Republican primary debate. This is Biden's sixth trip to the state since becoming president. In 2020, Biden won Wisconsin by just under 21,000 votes. The National Football League's commissioner was in Green Bay. He was in the home city of the Packers to celebrate its selection as host for the NFL's draft in 2025. Speaking at an event that was open to the public, Roger Goodell commented on the history Wisconsin has played in the league's draft.
We moved the draft out of New York after over 50 years. You are the 14th city to host this. Believe it or not, the second in Wisconsin. In 2025, it will actually be our 90th draft. So I can't think of a better place to be able to do that than right here in really what is the heart of football. The beauty of it is really it's a chance for you to put
Wisconsin's Joint Finance Committee voted to provide $2 million in state funds to help host the draft. Green Bay is the smallest market in the U.S. to have a major pro sports team. Two runners in Madison finished a half marathon with a little something extra, an engagement ring. Erica Kaya and Eric Memel, who hail from Macon, got engaged at the end of the 13.1-mile race. They say the race is special to them. It just got more special.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a man down on one knee, posing, and I believe she said yes.
Were you surprised?
Yes. Kind of. I had a feeling it was happening this summer, but we've run this race before and I was wanting it to happen here, so it's the best surprise ever.
After a little over 1 year together, Eric Memel and Becca Kaya are now engaged. Oh, and after running 13.1 miles on Saturday.
He's a lot faster than me, like a full hour faster than me.
Eric finished his run and then went back out to find Becca and run to the finish line with her, hand in hand.
That's like something's fishy.
Now living in Mequon, Wisconsin, they say the Madison Mini is a special place to them.
This is one of our first big dates that we had together, if you could call a half marathon a date.
But this half marathon had a little bit of added pressure for Eric.
Mentally and physically the toughest run I've probably ever done.
Yeah, I read.
A lot of anticipation.
I guess it makes sense.
Why are you so anxious? I'm like, wouldn't you want to know? You have no idea. Yeah, it just felt like the right time and the right place. We love coming here and love her.
Yeah.
A heartwarming moment in Madison. Now here's Derek to tell us what to expect for our morning commute. Derek.
All right, thanks for that, Jeremy. We are looking at a nice clear start to the day so far this morning. Just a couple of passing clouds, but other than that, conditions are looking nice and quiet this morning. It's a little cool outside, though. Current temperature readings are into the 40s further off towards the east areas like Black River Falls and Sparta here this morning into the mid-40s. Eau Claire currently sitting at 49 degrees. La Crosse is at 56. Winona is at 54, and Viroqua currently sitting at 53 degrees. So a check now on your forecast overall today. Mostly sunny and pretty seasonable with our highs around 82 degrees. North-northwest winds will be light today at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Meanwhile, tonight temperatures are dropping to 61. It'll be partly cloudy and also seasonable with temperatures in general. Southwest winds still light. 5 to 10 miles an hour. So mowing conditions today, I think today's a much better day to go ahead and mow because tomorrow is going to be a bit warmer here, and also not to mention very dry and sunny throughout the day. Temperatures into the low 70s at noon and then very comfortable at 5 o'clock, 82 degrees with lots of sunshine here for us to work with. Now stay tuned. I'll have a final check on your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes. And we're going to talk about how long these seasonable conditions will be lasting here in the forecast. Also coming up in our Buzz Report, a popular pop-funk band has announced they are cutting their tour short, and current ticket holders may be eligible for a refund. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, sir, it's a beautiful start here behind me from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse. Just a few passing clouds there in the distance, but other than that, conditions are looking nice and clear sky coverage-wise. Temperatures are currently at 56 degrees with the sunshine in full force there. Northerly winds very light at around 3 miles an hour. Meanwhile, in Eau Claire, you're much foggier here this morning. Temperatures are at 49, but really the main story here is that dense fog. So if you're driving around here, make sure to use your low beam headlights to reduce your braking distance between you and the other driver in front of you. Give yourself extra time here this morning on your morning commute as well. Wind speeds looking nice and calm here this morning here for you in Eau Claire. We are looking at clear skies right now across the area. Temperatures are into the 50s for the most part, but there are some colder exceptions from the Chippewa Valley southeast into our eastern zones where we're seeing the 40s, but really the rest of us this morning are mainly checking into the 50s. Now we'll be warming up into the 70s by noon today with sunshine. A very comfortable 72 degrees as a matter of fact as we kick off noon, but 81 degrees with sunshine by 4 o'clock. And then as we head into early this evening, we're dropping into the low 70s with clear skies still in full force there. Forecast highs today into the upper 70s to low 80s. Eau Claire, you're looking at a high of 80 degrees. La Crosse, comfortable as well, 82 degrees. And some of us like Viroqua today into the 70s come this afternoon. Clear skies again on Sky Tracker. We're going to be looking at this trend continuing throughout the morning here today. Could see a few clouds move in from the north as we head into around 5 o'clock this afternoon, but really other than that, conditions are looking nice and clear and sunny. As we head into tonight and watching this next week disturbance, that could bring us some cloud cover to work with as we head into tonight. No rain is expected underneath those clouds, maybe a slight chance of a shower near the Chippewa Valley, but that's about it. Some of those clouds could linger as we head into early tomorrow morning around 8 o'clock or so. Now we may increase the clouds just a little bit here as we'll get that southerly wind that's going to help pick up the moisture a little bit out ahead of this frontal boundary that I'm watching back towards the west, and that front is expected to move in as we head into Wednesday night. So tomorrow night we'll be watching this next frontal boundary. It looks like the rain here associated with that low pressure system in the front should remain mainly to the north. We'll keep our eyes on the southern extent of that line as some of that may begin to affect portions of the Chippewa Valley for tomorrow night. But out ahead of this front, it's going to be much warmer. In fact, highs will be into the upper 80s. Behind the front, temperatures will drop into the low 80s for Thursday and Friday. But then as we head into this weekend and into early next week, we got a big warm-up coming. Our highs will be into the low to mid 90s there. Low temperatures mainly into the 60s.
In our morning Buzz Report, pop-funk band Paramore have announced they are canceling the remainder of their current tour. The band cut their This Is Why tour short after lead singer Hayley Williams shared on the band's Instagram account that she has contracted a lung infection. She says she was at risk for possible long-term damage from the infection and is currently paying attention to her body. Ticket holders can get refunds for their tour at the point of purchase. Entertainment, music, sports, and political dealmaker Clarence Avant died Sunday. Avant, also known as the Black Godfather, managed and led the careers of icons like Bill Withers and Muhammad Ali. He is also well known for shaping the profiles and pay of countless performers and celebrities, eventually even running Motown Records. Clarence Avant was 92.
It is the biggest doping scandal in sports history, including Barry Bonds.
We determined what to take, when to take it. It was all based on circumventing the testing.
Hall of Shame premieres on Netflix today. The new documentary is the latest chapter of the Netflix documentary series Untold. The new documentary by Chapman and McLean Way will tackle steroid use in sports over the years.
I'm trying to speak, but you never listen, always talking over complicating things.
TikTok singer Becca Means is releasing her debut single, My Darling. The social media star has performed covers and demos for her 3 million TikTok followers. Becca has also taught herself guitar and piano while co-producing the new song. Glory Hammers have released a new music video for their song Sword Lord of the Goblin Horde. The new song and music video come from the band's new album Return to the Kingdom of Life. The new album will continue the band's ongoing sci-fi fantasy storyline. All right, Derek, big question. Are you a big fan of documentaries?
Yeah, I like the documentary movies, sure, especially when it comes to things like, science and sports. Those are my two big ones when it comes to documentaries.
And this one does look interesting. I mean, some of the scandals I remember. I remember the Barry Bonds scandal.
Yeah.
And several other scandals related to that.
Yeah.
But good stuff. Good
Definitely
stuff.
good stuff. What's also good stuff was birthdays, too.
Yes. Who doesn't love a birth anniversary, as it should be called?
Exactly. We do have one to celebrate today, and this one is to Miles, who is turning 8 months old. So his mom says he's a happy little guy. We want to wish Miles a happy birthday today.
If you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 1880, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button underneath the Home tab on our website.
Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your morning news now is up next. Cash bond for a man accused of a triple homicide has been reduced. Nayo Tao has been held on $1 million cash bond since July 2021. He is accused of shooting and killing 3 people execution style at a county quarry. Today, his lawyer asked for reduced bail. He cited the hung jury in June's mistrial as a reason to lower Tao's bail amount. Judge Levine reduced it to a $500,000 cash bond. Levine said the cash bail amount remains high due to the violent nature of the crimes Tao is accused of. Tao will appear in court again in October for a status conference to determine when a new trial will take place. 2 people in Monroe County have been arrested on dozens of charges related to an illegal animal shelter. 25-year-old Aaron J. Olson and 27-year-old Brennan Michelson have been arrested for allegedly mistreating and selling animals. Their listed address is this property on North Street in Sparta. Olson faces multiple counts of intentionally mistreating animals and improperly sanitizing animal shelters, selling dogs, and operating an animal shelter without a license. She's also charged with conspiracy to intentionally abandon an animal and obstructing an agency. Brennan Michelson has been arrested for similar charges and resisting an officer. They will both make their initial appearances in Monroe County Court on Thursday. A Coon Valley man's hunting and fishing licenses are revoked after a DNR investigation. According to a DNR release, they got a tip in November 2021 about someone shooting a buck with a rifle during archery season. The investigation found that in addition to the illegal harvest, the Coon Valley resident also used illegal bait to attract deer. He also used a relative's license to continue hunting after meeting the buck harvest limit. The DNR will revoke the man's hunting and fishing privileges for the next 3 years. He has received citations for the other charges. The National Football League's commissioner was in Green Bay Monday. He was in the home city of the Packers to celebrate its selection as host for the NFL's draft in 2025. Speaking at an event that was open to the public, Roger Goodell commented on the history Wisconsin has played in the league's draft.
We moved the draft out of New York after over 50 years. You are the 14th city to host this. Believe it or not, the second in Wisconsin. In 2025, it will actually be our 90th draft. So I can't think of a better place to be able to do that than right here in really what is the heart of football.
Wisconsin's Joint Finance Committee voted to provide $2 million in state funds to help host the draft. Green Bay is the smallest market in the U.S. to have a major pro sports team. The La Crosse Public Library has multiple events happening today. At 10 a.m. there will be chair fitness at the Community Connection Center. You can have fun exercising while sitting in a chair and listening to upbeat music. This is for all ages and fitness levels. You must register for the event ahead of time. And starting at 1, the main library's creation space will be open. This space gives the entire community the opportunity to use a 3D printer, sewing machine, and other production equipment. And it's not too late for kids to get caught up on back-to-school vaccinations. Gunderson's Vaccine Clinic is hosting Be a Superhero Day today at their Onalaska location. The event runs in the evening from 4:15 to 6:30. This gives parents who work an opportunity to take their kids in. The Vaccine Clinic is on the 4th floor at the Onalaska building. It offers all vaccines, including for the flu, COVID, meningitis, and tetanus. It is recommended to make an appointment, but walk-ins are also accepted. A national association says Gunderson Health System's emergency services are the cream of the crop. Gunderson has received this year's Emergency Nurse Association's Lantern Award. It honors the top 1% of health systems across the country that show excellence in research, professionalism, leadership, and education. A head of Gunderson's Emergency Services Department says it's a huge honor and one that reflects a large amount of staff that make quality care happen.
We set the benchmarks across the nation. So for little La Crosse, Wisconsin, to have such great emergency care, our community should really, be proud. This is where I bring my family. So if my family were to need emergency care, I'm proud of the care that they can get here.
This is the first time Gunderson has received the Lantern Award. The honor lasts for the next 3 years.
As you head out the door this morning, temperatures are into the 50s mainly. We're going to be warming up into the 60s by 9 o'clock. That will continue through at least 11 o'clock. And then heading into the early afternoon, highs or temperatures in the mid 70s, but our highs rather will be into the upper 70s to low 80s. Come later today between around 3 and 5. Lots of sunshine to enjoy here today. And speaking of sunshine, that's pretty much in the forecast for the rest of this work week, at least, with highs into the 80s. And temperatures ramp up pretty good here as we head into this weekend into early next week. Highs will climb into those low to mid 90s. Definitely going to feel more of like a heat wave effect there, with lows into mainly the 60s. So.
Well, at least the sun's out again today, and no complaints. I love that that upward heat trend.
Yeah.
Are we looking at a heat wave?
Yeah, a little bit of a heat wave.
A little bit of a heat wave. I'll take it. Got to enjoy it while summer's still here.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thank you for tuning in to News 8 Now this morning. I'll see you again at noon. Have a great morning, everyone.